Hey there guys, welcome back, and today we're doing the next part for What If Krillin told Chi-Chi about her husband's murder and her child's kidnapping. Now, last time we left off, we had the group heading up to Kami's lookout, and because I don't want to waste too much time, I just want to jump straight into it. We join our heroes discussing who should be going in first to the time chamber, and after a brief discussion everyone decides that the first two to go in will be Goku and Gohan, who will spend their time trying to unlock new forms of the Super Saiyan and master it even further than they ever believed they could. And upon leaving the time chamber, they do leave in the grade 4 state of Super Saiyan, having an easier time unlocking it thanks to Gohan already knowing how to go Super Saiyan. They leave the time chamber with Goku having a power level of 4.5 bil in his base, which is 225 bil in Super Saiyan, and Gohan having a power level of 5.5 bil in base and 275 bil in Super Saiyan. And after having a bit of a sense around, the group can tell that both Goku and Gohan are over half of Cell's power, discomforting the group quite a bit. However, they also understand that it's not quite enough, with everyone else in the Z Fighters wanting Goku and Gohan to go in again. However, Goku then goes on to explain that it will probably be best if they have a day break before they even decide about going back in. After all, spending 2 years in there, one after another, it will really mess with their heads. So if anyone else wants to go in, now would be the time. And Goku then leaves, heading off to Bulma's place to ask for a favour, with Gohan staying there talking to both Master, Krillin and Piccolo. Now, everyone's trying to figure out who wants to go in next, and Yamcha actually walks up to Future Trunks and asks, "Would you like to go in with me?" With the time traveller obviously jumping on the chance to spend some time with his father and get some training in. Now, Yamcha spends most of his time trying to teach his son the Kaioken and also improving some of his martial arts skills, which Future Trunks clearly lacks. And after a while, the pair come out, both being able to hold the times 30 Kaioken with ease. However, both have figured out this is the highest form of transformation their bodies can handle right now. With Yamcha's power level in his base being 900 mil, and using the Kaioken times 30 it goes up to 27 bil, and Trunks in his base is at a power level of 1 bil, and using the times 30 Kaioken he can go up to 30 bil. The only reason Trunks is a bit higher, he has a bit more of a potential than his father does. After all, he was born from a really strong Yamcha, so it just helped him a bit. Now, when these two leave the time chamber, they see Goku and Bulma, and they're starting to unload a load of food from a massive truck, with Goku shouting out for Goten to come grab some food, with both Gotens heading over to grab some food before they realise they don't actually know which Goten he shouted for. However, Goku soon says that no, he means both of them, with both Gotens running over and grabbing a massive pile of food, and all three head into the time chamber. Goku then goes on to explain that they needed the extra food so all three of them could spend a full year in here, and then Goku begins to help his future son try and learn the grade 4 state of Super Saiyan, whereas Kid Goten is trying to learn how to go Super Saiyan, and after about 6 months he does manage to turn Super Saiyan for the first time, and the three spend a lot of their time training with one another, and Goku actually comes up with a new idea. He wants to mix the Kaioken, which he has a much better mastery of here, with the Super Saiyan state, just to give him somewhat of an edge against Cell. And for the most part it does work, however it's very draining on his body. Now, he does know that there is a state beyond this grade 4 form of Super Saiyan, however he can't seem to achieve it, as if there's something blocking him from doing it. However, he and Goten are much closer to unlocking Super Saiyan 2 than the Kid Goten is. However, Kid Goten does manage to unlock the grade 4 state of Super Saiyan a month before they leave the time chamber, meaning that all three leave in Super Saiyan. Goku comes out with a power level of 7 bil in his base, and in Super Saiyan that's 350 bil, meaning he's literally just below Cell. Future Goten comes out with a power level of 6 bil in base, and in his Super Saiyan that's 300 bil. And Kid Goten comes out with a power level of 3 bil, and in Super Saiyan it's 150 bil. Now, when they leave, everyone is amazed with how Goku is nearly doubled in strength. But they're also impressed with how strong the Gotens have got, mostly being shocked by the younger of the two. Goku then goes on to explain that this will probably be all the training he will be doing. After all, if he can't really spend any more time in there anyway, and even if he could, it would just really start to mess with his head, so he's just going to go relax for the next few days. And he tells both Gotens to follow him, with them following their father obviously, but Gohan asks if he can stay to go in with both Krillin and Piccolo just once more, just to help him catch up and so he can help out a lot more in the fight with Cell, with Krillin and Piccolo both agreeing and Goku saying goodbye to his son. Now, the three get a bit more food off Bulma. After all, they don't need that much, all they need to do is make sure that they have a little bit extra to let Piccolo go in with them. And the three spend a lot of time just sparring. However, they do spend quite a bit of time meditating as well, which is something Piccolo very desperately wants to do with everyone. Now, Gohan does try and push himself to achieve the next state of Super Saiyan. However, he does keep falling short. He doesn't really have any motivation. After all, everyone thinks Goku is at the point where he should be able to win, not knowing that he has the Super Kaioken as well. So he's just training just in case they need an extra bit of hand. And the group only spend 10 months in there. After all, they decide that they're first of all running low on food and that they should be pretty strong enough to help out in the fight anyway. So they all just leave, with Gohan leaving with a power level of 6.5 bill in his base and 325 bill in Super Saiyan. He trained hard, but because he had a lot of weaker training partners, it didn't really do too much for him. Piccolo got a power level of 4 bill in his base. However, something interesting that happened in there is both himself and Krillin have tapped into Kaioken. Thanks to what Yamcha taught them and a brief explanation from Goku, they had the right idea of how to train to achieve it, and they managed to unlock it right near the end of their training, but both only have low multipliers of the form right now, so I'm not going to bother mentioning it. Krillin managed to achieve a power level of 2 bill, like what I said about Piccolo pretty much. Now after this, everyone heads home, with Tien not entering the time chamber for a few reasons. One, no one else is going in, everyone else is either headed home or is leaving to head home, and he doesn't want to go in by himself. And the second thing, he wants to save the time chamber in case he absolutely needs it. After all, he's only got 1 more year in there, so he doesn't want to waste it right now. So everyone heads home. When Gohan arrives home, he hears from his father that the tournament will take place in 3 days. Apparently, Cell announced it on the news, with Chi-Chi noting it down so the Z fighters could get informed. However, Bulma also did tell them when Goku, Goten and Goten went in, which was really weird to say. So everyone is getting ready, and for the most part, everyone just rests up, with the Sun family spending time with one another, with future Goten getting to know his father a bit more. After all, he didn't know him too well. And future Trunks is also getting to know Yamcha a lot better. However, soon the day arrives of the fight, and much like normal, Mr. Satan happens to be there. However, also like normal, he doesn't really stand a chance, and the champ is soon taken out. And something I actually didn't mention last time is that Cell is actually much weaker here. Much like what I said with Dr. Gero and Android 19, they never really saw Goku use the Kaioken. So Dr. Gero was lowballing a little bit more than he should have been, meaning that Cell is probably a significant amount weaker here, which also means the androids are a bit weaker here. It was just a nice little domino effect for the group to deal with. And in my what if King Cold went to Namek, I made Cell's power level about 500 bill. I've put it down to 400 bill here, just because I think that was a reasonable decrease, meaning the group is relatively close to him in power. Now, the moment of the Z Fighters' turn to fight Cell comes up, and of course Goku steps into the ring to fight with Cell. Goku actually being much closer to Cell here. I've put the fight to be exactly like it was in canon, however it is much closer, with Cell having to go all out against Goku. The fight dragging on for a while, both become very tired, and Goku knows that he needs to end this. After all, he's running out of energy, and he starts forming a final attack using the Kamehameha stance. He's using all of his fuel he's got left for this one attack, with Cell finding this to be a fun idea, and he wants to clash with the Saiyan, so he too starts to charge up his own Kamehameha, with the two beams clashing only briefly before it's clear Cell has more energy left in him than Goku does, and his beam begins to overpower Goku's. With Cell explaining this has been a glorious match, it was perfect, but this is the best way to end it. So long, Son Goku. However, Goku just sort of smiles. He shouts back out that yeah, he hasn't had a good fight like this in years, and he thanks Cell for this. However, he's threatened to destroy the Earth, so it's gotta end here. He then shouts out, Kaioken, and his body flares up with a red flame of energy surrounding him, and Goku's beam begins to push back Cell's without any struggle. Cell begins to panic and try and put more energy into the attack, however he just can't do it, and before long, Cell completely disappears, with Goku winning the clash. Goku releasing the Kamehameha when he can sense Cell's energy has vanished. Sitting in his Super Saiyan state, he's panting, he's dropped the Kaioken form. Everyone just gets ready to cheer before they sense something reappear. They sense Cell's energy. From what they can tell, he's twice as strong as he was before. Cell's power now eclipses that of Goku's, and Cell then goes on to explain a lot about himself, with him explaining where he's from and who he's made up from, explaining how Piccolo's cells made sure that he wouldn't die there. He had one nucleus left. That attack should have killed anyone but him. But the group obviously don't understand how he got so much stronger. After all, they don't really know about Zenkais here. Goku doesn't know anything about them, and he's the only living pure-blooded Saiyan, so for now it's sort of a mystery. Cell then flies straight at Goku, kicking him into the air, winding Goku, before teleporting behind the Saiyan and elbow dropping him into the ground. Goku is hardly holding together here. He tries to get back up and take a fighting stance, explaining how he won't lose before flaring back up into the Super Kaioken, which makes the fight between him and Cell a bit closer again. However, the form isn't anywhere near stable, and before long, Goku soon finds himself completely out of energy, with Cell holding Goku to the ground, explaining how he's going to end this fight now. But just before Cell can end the fight, both Goku and Piccolo hear something familiar. Heck, it even sounds familiar to Gohan, and when everyone turns to try and figure out where the noise came from, it's followed by a "Leave my father alone." The group turn around to look at a Goten who is now flowing with energy and rage, and before anyone can even say anything, he flies straight down towards Cell, trying to hit the bug, but he just smacks Goten away, and this is amusing to Cell. He wasn't quite expecting this. The ring's still sort of intact, and Goku is out of it. Yeah, he'll play with the halfling for a little bit. And it flies down back into the ring, where Goten starts pulling himself out of the ground. Gohan, who just watched this, almost flies down immediately to help his brother, but before anything can happen, Cell explains, "This is still a tournament. Your father is out of the ring. Your brother is now in it. Step down here, and I'll see that as cheating. He dies, and you die." And no one can really argue with Cell. The person who was closest to him, Goku, is pretty much out of commission temporarily, and everyone just sort of looks at what's happening. They see Goten has managed to pull himself out of the ground, and he's showing his father's bravery right here, but also his mother's fury, and charges at Cell another time, actually landing a hit on the bug before being sent flying away again. Cell's making it so Goten is just staying in the ring. Goku, who can't stand at the moment, shouts out for his son to leave the arena as fast as possible, as he isn't ready to fight someone like Cell yet. However, Goten is blinded by his rage. You see, Goku isn't wagering on his son achieving a new form here. He hasn't got the same idea he had in canon. He believed that his Super Kaioken was pretty much going to win it for him, and now that his son is in the ring and in harm's way, he's panicking a little bit. The other Z fighters don't really know what to do, with Krillin being the only one who had the sensu beans on him, flies over to Goku as fast as he can, feeding Goku a sensu bean, while future Goten and Gohan watch, unsure what to do, both shaking with rage, trying to hold back, with Piccolo explaining that they need to play by Cell's rules, otherwise Goten dies. However, future Goten turns around and shouts, "He'll die if we don't step in," and everyone's sort of not sure what to do. Goku, who's had a sensu bean and now does feel a little bit stronger, but knows it's also not enough to take down Cell. They all feel something happening to Goten though, and during this whole time, Goten's been getting beaten down and knocked away. He's very clearly injured, and he's surprisingly only just holding together. But the young boy pulls himself off the ground once more, and everyone just sort of stares at him. His power's changing, and they don't understand why. But before long, the boy lets out a scream of anger, fear, and sadness, with his power shooting up and his hair changing alongside it. Goten's power now eclipses that of Cell's, with the young Saiyan dashing straight towards Cell, punching him straight into the gut, making Cell spit up a girl, but also making him pass out himself. Now, everyone's shocked and just surprised with what's happened. After all, Goten just achieved something no one understood what happened. But before long, they seem to sense that Cell's actually weaker than he just was. He seems to have spit up something, and now he's weaker, and he even looks different. And Cell begins to scream and curse that he's changed from his perfect form. Seeing the unconscious Goten, he kicks him away before trying to reabsorb Android 18, but before he even gets a chance, he's tackled by 3 different people, Goku, Gohan, and future Goten, who all decide that now they have a chance to take him down, they're taking it, who all begin to beat down on the bug before knocking him straight into the sky, making him open for a family Kamehameha, which completely destroys the bug, with the 3 holding the beam longer than they ever needed to, but after a while they do stay on guard. Even when they can't sense Cell completely, they make sure they stay, ready for a fight. However, he doesn't come back, making the Z fighters run over to make sure the unconscious Goten is okay. He is fine, he's just unconscious and he's pretty banged up. Krillin gives him a senzu bean, which does help the boy, however he stays asleep for a little bit longer. Goten wakes up a few hours later in his bedroom, where he's surrounded by his family and his future counterpart, who tells him how dumb he is, but gives him a hug, saying, "Well done, kid." And everyone in the family starts to congratulate Goten, and also hug him, saying how worried they were. And outside we see a future Trunks looking over a still unconscious Android 18, explaining how this is the android who has destroyed his timeline, and he wants to destroy her, with Krillin stepping in actually asking if he could live. After all, she's done nothing wrong here, and for the most part, they never even cause any damage. It was all Dr. Gero. And if they think they can cause any damage, at least they've got Goten and Goku. Krillin's just defending the girl because, one, he wants to give her a second chance, and two, I think she's kind of cute, so he doesn't really say that part, but he is, the reason he is defending her. Trunks is a bit more willing to let her go here, and does agree, but he will keep an eye on her while he's still in the past. But this is where I'm ending this part. I'm leaving the part with Cell's destruction and the world back to peace. I hope everyone enjoyed this part, and I hope it took you by surprise with what I did right at the end. This is my favourite ending out of all of the scripts I wrote for this part, but I do have an idea that some people might not like it. However, I do want to ask a question. Should the Z-Fighters try and go check out Dr. Gero's lab? See if they can find Android 16 or, the Cell embryo, or should it just go unnoticed? And another thing, should they wish back 17? Now, there isn't a reason, they don't even know he exists, but I don't know, I just thought I'd ask. But I hope people enjoyed, and I hope everyone has a great day or a good night. I'll see you next time.